I still need to get a video or stream about my initial thoughts on the BZ75, as I still don't really have the experience on the tank whatsoever to give my final results on it. Prior to that, I'm going to stick to doing a review on one of its counterparts, being the BZ68, the Tier 9 variation of the BZ75 line. And in my opinion, this tank is flat out better than the Tier 10, and here is exactly what I mean. You have better turret armor, having upwards of 268mm thick, and, surprisingly enough, you have more DPM than the derp gun on the BZ75, and you have a faster reload time, which means you're able to outdo it by only a small margin. And then here is the armor profile on the tank. You can see that there are no cheeks at the moment when used on flat ground, and all of the turret is going to be an auto ricochet. The full-on front of its turret having upwards of 301mm thick. The cheeks right here upwards of 272. The sides of the turret are going to be auto ricochets along with trying to overmatch the roof of it. The full-on gun mantlet upwards of 365. And the full-on upper plate upwards of 270. And then the potential weak spots of the vehicle, you have a lower plate having upwards of 136 and a big hatch on the roof, which is only 150 to 190 millimeters thick. But it's all going to change when I load in the heats. For example, on an SDI that has a heat output of upwards of 340. When running calibrated, it brings it up to 370 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, look at that. That's where everything all changes for the vehicle. You can see that the full-on turret that used to be an auto ricochet on the front right here, right next to the gun mantlet, is now going to be an auto penetration, along with the cheeks right here, and the full-on upper plate as well is also going to be an auto penetration while at it. Even when running calibrated shells, you can see that the cheeks right here, because they were a slight % chance to pen these little cheeks above the track wheels, it is now cut down to a point to where an SDI running calibrated would be able to cut through them instantly. And then the tank also carries 6 degrees of gun depression, but again, it kind of bums me out to even see this. Like, when a tank's used hold down, it thickens their turret armor, but for this, it's not the case. It's the exact same with the BZ75. It decreases millimeters on the turret, having now upwards of 247 on both cheeks. And it's pretty much going to be the same thing when I'm running heats. Although it's going to thicken it to a small margin when hold down against heat shells, it's not really going to make much of a difference. However, for this, it's going to be a minor % chance to pen it, as it's upwards of 341 millimeters thick. The only other advantages that you would have against this is that you have the gun mantlet, if you're unfortunate enough to hit that, upwards of 388 when used hold down. And it's hard to see the hatches at a position like this, so good luck trying to hit that along as well. And you end up seeing the vehicle, not its lower plate, poking over a ridgeline. All of this upper plate armor right here, 469 millimeters thick. Also, good luck trying to pen that in the process as well. And then you have the side of the vehicle, the side of the turret upwards of 174, and then the full-on side upwards of 110 to 80 on the rear. And then the full-on back of the vehicle, the back of the turret upwards of 80, and then the full-on rear upwards of 60. Against HEs with an SDI, you can see that it has just enough HE outputs in order to cut through and do the maximum amount of damage to this vehicle. Along with that, its average penetration factors are upwards of 242 on the standard, 160 on the premium high explosives, along with 60 on the standard high explosives. Along with the average damage having upwards of 530 on the standard, 600 on the premium high explosive, and 750 on the standard high explosive. Combined with an aiming time of an ugly 4.9 seconds, almost close to 5, with a 0.36 dispersion along with that. And then maneuverability-wise, you have a top speed of 40 with a reverse of 15, with this pretty reasonable power to weight of 14.7. And one of the first battles that I ended up doing in the tank, I managed to get this clip right after I stopped streaming, and I was able to get a 5K game in the vehicle. So here it is right here. This is on Dead Rail, also another map that Wargaming brought back into the game. So, in terms of heavies, what they have against us is an SDI, a Chrysler K, and an Emil 1951. So, what I currently do in this situation, I go ahead and make my way to the left side and hold off some of the vehicles that are trying to poke over the hill. Alright, so the battle is starting right about now. Just move my mouse out of the way. Alright. Making our way towards the left side right over here. And we will see how we fare well. So, moseying on over. So we try to poke in right behind the hill right here. See if any tanks try to cross right here. Already hear that tanks are already spotted towards the far right side of the map. So, the Luva and I are going to continue making our way forward just a minor bit. As we start spotting some of their tanks trying to push over the ridgeline right over here, like the Emil 1951 and the SDI right over here. The SDI is out in the open right here, so we are going to try to get a solid chunk of damage. But unfortunately, that shell ends up going high because of that terrible aiming time. So we're going to reload once again. We put on our fast reload. So we're going to try to see if we can get a shot into the SDI, but unfortunately, we're not able to. So what I do is I go ahead... Oh, never mind. Here we are. Gonna move on up towards the SDI. There's a solid chunk for 615 into his vehicle, and he gets cleared. That is very good. So now the Emil 1951 is off to the side. I do want to see if I can get some shells into him as well, but the majority of their enemies are starting to annihilate our other allies that are over towards the far right side. But we do get a nice shot into the side of the AT-15 over there. And we're going to reload once again. We're probably going to get another shell into him. We do spot the 1390 as well off towards the side as well. So we are not able to get a shot into him. I took a blind fire just in case, just to make sure it would hit. But unfortunately, it didn't. So we're just going to continue moseying on through and remain here in the spot. Or we're going to move up on the Emil 1951 as he is low on health and get the clear on him. So that's good, and now all that's left are some of these enemies that are over towards the right side, including a Yad Tiger that's camping right off in the back left side of the map. Not able to get an HE into him, so what I do in this scenario is I mosey on down just a little bit because I know that Yad Tiger is a threat trying to peck off some of our vehicles that are trying to spot out the majority of their enemies on the other side of the map. We do spot the Chrysler K off to the side. We're able to get a nice HE. That's a bit of a low roll, but hey, I'll take it regardless. So he's going to mosey on back just a little bit. We're going to move on up towards the Chrysler K and see if we can get a clearing shot into him. He's facing the side of his turret, but it low rolls again for 577, but I could care less as the Luva gets the clear on him, which is good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on this Yad Tiger right here as he is the potential threat. So I'm going to poke over this ridgeline and see if I can get a solid chunk of damage into the Yad Tiger. As some of their vehicles are spotted off to the side, we got the 1390, not able to get a shell into him at the moment as he is hiding right behind that house right there. So we got the Yad Tiger spotted right there. Not able to HEM, but we do get a nice max roll of 663 into his vehicle and able to trade him for a solid chunk of damage. So we're going to reload once again. Want to try to aim in on that 1390 so he's no longer a potential threat for some of my teammates. So there we go. We do get the clear on the 1390. And now we're going to focus our attention back towards the Yad Tiger. As we know, some of our tanks... Unfortunately enough for our VK, it's just our Luva now. He's camping off in the back, and he's going to have to try to hold off some of the enemies from tunneling him and during the process. So I know the Yad Tiger's low. I go ahead and start moving inwards on him. I don't care if he shot me just because I have enough hit points to outmatch his vehicle, as we are able to get a clear onto him. And we get hit by the enemy T-54, who's over, poking his little turret off to the other side, right behind that ridgeline where the IS-2SH is. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue moseying on through the town and see if I can spot the rest of their enemies. So we're going to mosey on through. We got the AT-15 spotted right there. And we do get spotted in the process. Luva gets a nice shot into the AT-15. I've loaded my high explosive so I can guarantee the pen. But unfortunately, the aiming time messes me up once again. Good thing the Luva was able to get a clear onto him, and now all that's left is the enemy T-54. And there he is. We're going to move right up on him. Fortunately, I tried to get an HE, so I would try to see if I'd finish him off, but it low rolls, of course. But we have enough hit points in order to take another chunk of damage off of his vehicle. So we're going to reload once again. We do hide behind the house, get into a scrape. He manages to bounce us. And that is the game. We were able to kill 4 in the process and do a very reasonable chunk of damage in the end. And here it is, 51-27. We were able to block 590 and ace the tank in the process, along with doing top on the team while at it. But you guys already know I can't end the video yet on just a simple-minded replay, so I gotta get an actual gameplay in for you guys. So here we are. Looks like it is a tier 10 battle. In terms of heavies, they have a BZ-75, they have an IS-8, and an M5 yellow, along with an SDI. Or an SD1, as so many people call it. I don't know why I like to call it SDI. I get confused because of the 1 or the I. Well, it overall doesn't matter. So, we're going to make our way over here towards the left side and see if we can spot out the majority of tanks that try to cross over the bridge right here. See how we can fare well. There's the Leopard pushing on up. So we're going to head over with our Caro right here. Let's see who gets spotted right over here. Looks like they have an enemy over in C base, so the majority of their enemies are over in C. So I'm just going to go ahead and mosey on up just a bit as the Leopard is up on the bridge right here. Me and my Caro are going to go ahead and try to see if we can tunnel this Leopard right here. There he is. So we're going to go ahead and mosey on up and get a nice HE for 675 into his tank. Ooh, and the Yag is off in the back. That is not ideal. So we're going to reload once again and see if we can try to get a shot into the Yag right here. The only spot I'm able to hit is his hatch at the moment. And the shell just goes high. That is highly unfortunate. So he has his tungsten rounds loaded. We're just going to wait until those disappear so we can poke on out once again and get a solid chunk of hit points dealt to him. As there goes my ping factors once again. Oh, Caro's probably going to get hit. Oh, never mind. Yag aims in on me once again. Good, he shot. That's good. Let's see. Okay, Caro, that is very nice of you. Oh, and his lower plate showing. So, there we go. Able to overmatch that and do 501 onto him. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep this guy busy by just remaining right behind this dead soldier, so the Caro can get in behind him during the process. So we're going to continue facing him right here. There we go. 487 chunk into his vehicle, and the Caro is going to finish him off. That is good. So we're going to continue moseying on our way to the right side over here and focus in on some of the other enemies right here. There's a 4005. I think we are able to spot him, which we are, but he backs up at the last second. Unfortunate, but the T110E4 gets the clear. That is good. So we're just going to aim in over here. Looks like the Yo's going to poke on out. Let's see if we can get a nice HE shell into the side of his tank. Yeah, 549 into the side of his tank. That is a very solid shot. All right, looks like more of their enemies are moving onward. We got the BZ spotted, and then the SDI is right here as well. I'm going to stay put right here and see how we can fare well. SDI is still going to remain right there. We do got a couple other enemies as well. Let's see. BZ is going to move on up, though. So, let's see. Come on, E4. I know you want to... You can take a hit from the SDI, bro. You're full health. Yeah, so come on. Take a hit from him. Take a hit from him, bro. I don't really want to be, like, spotted out in the flat-out open. Oh, there's the IS-8. Not able to get a shell into him. Here comes the BZ. Oh. And then the SDI's right here as well. Let's see if we can get a nice solid chunk of hit points dealt into him. 519 into his vehicle. And it looks like the IS-8 is going to move on over towards this side. So I'm going to put on my fast reload. And in case if he does end up poking, we're probably going to get the clear onto him, which he does. So, nice. We got the clear on the IS-8s. And now all that's left are some of these enemies right here. BZ is moving on up. We also got the Yo behind us. So, good thing the Yo gets cleared. We're going to move right on back towards the BZ right here. He does end up clearing our Emil 2, which is not ideal, so we're going to continue moseying on upwards right here. See if we can get a nice shot into the BZ right here. He's going to poke on out. Let's see. Are we able to? Yeah! Right into the back of his engine deck for a pretty solid chunk of hit points. And he ends up HEing us for some odd reason. But the Caro is going to get the clear on him. And that is a very solid second battle and an actual gameplay demonstrating the positive factors about the BZ68. And in this one, we were able to do 3285, block 360, kill 1, and get a second class in the process, along with doing a pretty solid chunk of damage alongside it. The BZ68 has a very unique playstyle. Although it has really good armor against standard ammo, it's where everything all changes for its armor when you're up against like anything that has above a 340 heat output. But in general, I would have to say the BZ68 is a phenomenal tank, especially for the fact that it has a very good damage output. You have pretty solid DPM factors, especially for that damage output that go alongside it, along with good maneuverability to get into the front line and try to hold off the majority of enemies to the best of your ability. Hopefully you guys did end up enjoying today's video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And make sure to turn on those bell notifications so you be notified whenever I upload any new videos. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out, y'all.